morning and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Anne, and Disembodied Hands, Quindy, a lurking John, and a tiny glimmer of a Justin off in the distance. Hello everyone, how are you all? Also, we have a squeaky Kiki right away. Like, I was really hoping this. The squeaky Kiki has been quiet all morning up until now. And now she's like, hey mom, you're in the other room. Hey mom, hey, I would like to be where you are, hey. Hey, Margaret, on the road to Tiamat. 31 months. Fantastic. 30-month streak. I know, right? Like, time, like, gone. Yeah, total squeaky Kiki. Yeah. Yeah, she has a vet appointment later today. And Masara for 30. Well, yeah. The 31 months twins here. Thank you for the resub, you guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to put some lotion on my hands. It's getting cool. It's autumn. It's fall. It's fall. It's fall and the puppy shows signs of like having some brain cells. Like she may be growing new brain cells that enable her to not be... Oh my gosh, Zachariah. Dang. Look at that. Look at that bomb. Dang. Holy crap. Well, thanks for sub-bombing us. Triple-digit heat? Oh my god. Yeah, it's the last gasp of summer, right? We're supposed to get a little bit of that on the weekend. It's not 100, but it's supposed to get up in the 80s again. I thought it was over a bit, but summer just wants to get us. It just wants to get us. It's not going to let us go. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Zachariah Lamb. That was really generous of you. Thank you so much. Hey, is today the first day of fall or is it the 22nd, guys? It always changes. Like, I always look forward to the first day of fall, though. Let's see. I'm looking. No, 22nd. Okay, so 2 days. Got it. Thursday. I have till Thursday to get my writing in shape to, like, make a push. 22nd, yeah. Hello. So, I need to put on my, I need that. Seeing you, Julie, reminds me to put on my to-do list. Email Ron about new witch. I need to bug Ron. Because there's a new ghoulie bag model that Julie showed me yesterday that I want to paint on stream. If I can get it in time. It'll be our Halloween model. There we go. Man, I got a lot of things on my list today. High of 95. Wow. Yeah, for sure. Lots of hots. All right, so I've totally forgotten what colors I used on most of this model. It's true. But, you know, we're just going to soldier on because that's what it's about. I did not keep my my records as I usually do. It was possibly because she was like, you know, I started her for a special stream, and so I was like, do, and not really thinking. But I am going to, it's a Bob Mini, actually. It's a Bob Mini Cornico. This is important. Like, we need to paint Bob Minis. So, although really, whether it's a Bob Mini or a Julie Mini, I think is just like you cannot, you know, the hypothetical thumbprint of the one is on the other. I'm pretty sure they're a team at this point, and who gets credit is just who does most of the work. Am I right, Julie? Or do you guys just flip a coin? No, I did not use that color. While I sit here and sort through my paints. I use that color? Oh, no. Hey, I guess I could go back and look at the stream, but I don't really want to. I could probably use that color to get close. There. Yeah, that. I think I'll get close there. It's a Bob Mini, but you really like it. Okay, cool. Yeah, total sculpting power couple for sure. Yeah, but we want to paint. Like, I was looking for a Bob Mini to paint, so, and I had a couple of potentials, but I like that one better than any of the other ones that I was looking at, so. I think we'll just go with that. Pardon me while I just figure out what I'm doing here, guys. Just to see what I've got. Oh, maybe I used carbon scoring. That's really close. You know, I don't know. I used something. And now we don't know what. Maybe carbon scoring anaconda. Well, I may have to redo the blue if I can't remember. It's a thing. It's not heather blue. I know that because it's not. It's got to be a color that's in my side thing, and I do not keep heather blue in my side thing because it's canceled Kendikari. Or if it's not canceled, it's like it's one of those colors that like I thought that triad was canceled though. Maybe I'm wrong. So yeah. Yeah, you can, Quindy, or I can just paint. I mean, the thing about this is it's handy if I have my my recipe. But yeah. Oh, is it carbon scoring? That was the one I just had, carbon scoring. That was the one I landed on. Carbon scoring anaconda. I'm betting that's close. Because let's face it, guys, I can look at the color and I can match it. Like, I could have used Templar blue and I could still match this blue. Because, you know, superpowers. That's what I have. Heather blue is beautiful, but I just don't keep it in my sidebar here. Ah, you only work on the same piece if you're really too busy. Got it. Well, that's good to know, Bob and Julie. Here I thought you shared everything. But no, the minis are still each other's. Well, that's good. That's good because then you know who to credit. All right, so we'll do that. I just want to have that blue available. And, oh yeah, if heather blue's still out there, then awesome. For some reason, I thought that maybe that triad was canceled. But there are, heather's nice, but there are blues I like a little better, so I just like have them over here. I've got a lot of the blues from Fast Palettes over here. All right, so let's take a look at what I got. And I think I was just using, like, I was making an off gray with walnut. I think I want to take that gray and put it on her bracers as well. Or who to blame, right? Oh, dear. Pretty sure that I probably mixed that gray from something haphazard and now I'm going to regret it. But oh well, it is what it is. But yeah, this is what happens when you don't keep your handy little reference card, guys. Don't be me. Don't be me. Yeah, Ridderlich blue is our rough equivalent to Prussian blue, the artist color Prussian blue. I'm just mixing up a bit of this gray here so that I can move forward with that. Want to get a little bit more on this model. I'm still thinking about the color to come out of the lantern, but I'm leaning toward a very pale yellow gold, kind of like her hair. Let's see if that's close. Oh, need more white. Yeah, I was always a big fan of Prussian blue when I was a kid. I liked that color a lot. So, says Anne. I need to repaint those pants and highlight. Though I kind of like the way they are. Well, let's see what we can do. We're going to get some pants and bracers done. We're going to work on the leather highlights. Morning Daffodwear and Twistedoma. Carbon scoring. Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, that's what I had. Like, that shows you how good my color sense is. I knew it was one of the Fast Palette blues. I think I just decided to use it because, you know, Fast Palette blues. I was thinking, guys, I'm going to look at some of the Fast Palettes, but I kind of liked what we did with the Gloom Engrave one, where we painted that Crimson Herald with just the colors in the Fast Palette. And I was thinking about doing that with a different mini as well. Kandikari, it entirely depends on the color scheme of the figure. In my opinion, the leather color needs to change depending on the color scheme. So for example, here we are using saddle brown, and we are using saddle brown, or was it not brown? It's one or the other. I think it's saddle though. Yeah, saddle. And we're using saddle brown because this figure has a muted color scheme. And so for muted colors, for muted figures, I prefer to use like a saddle brown, nut brown, or shield brown. Or a very, very dark leather, depending, like a walnut with black and brown. But if I am doing a model, say, with a lot of green, I'll go with a reddish leather. If I'm doing a model with purples in it, I might go with a yellowy, like pale leather, depending. It's actually pretty rare that I do a pale leather. I did one with Knoll. This is one of the only pale leathers I've ever done on stream. But that's more of a yellowy leather. But when you're starting to work with colored leathers, you really should be working with one that is either with your color scheme. In this case, I've got kind of a red, yellow, blue thing going on with that leather, right? Red, yellow, blue. So that works with the color scheme. Or it should be complementary to the figure, to one of the main colors on the figure. So oh. Sorry, I'm catching up with chat here. Yeah, I thought we checked that just the other day and it was just 10 bottles. But yeah, so for here, again, I'm in a red, yellow, blue scheme. If you look at it and you really simplify it, I've got blue, I've got yellow with the really pale blonde hair, and then I've got a reddish leather. So a reddish muted leather. So leather, I think I don't remember if I've done a PDF on it, but I'm doing a PDF on browns right now for my Patreon, and I'm talking about red, orange, and yellow browns, and really leather is one of the things to keep in mind when you're doing those things, when you're using those browns. But it should always be a brown that complements the overall color scheme, because brown is not just brown. If I have to do something really, really neutral, like I need a true neutral leather, I just want something that's not going to fight with anything, then the absolute winner is russet brown, highlighted up with either driftwood and driftwood, and where's our, no, not that color. Where's that color? And creamy ivory, if I can find it. There it is. So if I need a very, very neutral dark brown, then it's russet brown, and I usually highlight it with driftwood, and then I might mix in a little bit of creamy ivory on the top to get that worn look if I'm looking for worn. But I'm not always looking for worn. So it is very situational, and it should be, because not every brown is neutral. So not every leather goes with everything. And you absolutely can choose a leather color that clashes with your miniature. You absolutely can get into that issue if you don't pay attention. So that's why my new PDF is talking about how to look at browns and, showing examples of very orange browns, reddish browns, and yellowy browns. And they're not always obvious. So I'm hoping this PDF will help people kind of figure that out. Okay, I finally have nailed my color. It's walnut with white in it, actually, for the leggings to create that gray. I'm going to actually recoat with the darker color because I want to be able to highlight up. There's my socials. Thanks, Quindy. So my Patreon is patreon.com/paintingbig, and I do it. I do a lot. I do four things a month, 4 tiers. Plus, I try to keep up with my YouTube channel, so I got to catch up with that this month. I've had a little bit of health hiccups, so I'm a little bit behind on it, and I'm trying to catch up now. Yeah, I mean, that's just it, right? Is like, you could just buy russet brown and driftwood and use those, and it wouldn't clash with anything. Shade with walnut brown, 9136. You can do that, and I did that for many years. Like, for many years, that was just my default, and it's what I did. But trying to work with the leather colors as an actual component of your color scheme is pretty rewarding, and it lets you get away with some stuff. Like, you might not want to add any actual red if you're painting a ranger, but maybe you want your greens to really kind of pick up and look more intense. The way to do that is to add a complementary color, i.e. red. But you don't want to add like regular red. And so instead you can add a reddish leather and it will have the same effect. It will make the greens pick up and look more vibrant, even though it's not a real red, it's just a reddish leather. So that's why I feel like, you know, it's an opportunity to use the leather color, just kind of do some sneaky stuff. Same thing with when you're painting a model in blues and you're using like an orangish leather. In this case, I'm not going for a direct complement. Instead, I'm going for a red, yellow, blue color scheme. So I'm going for the triadic and I'm using the leather as one component of it. So essentially using the leather not just as a neutral, but as an actual component of your color scheme can be pretty cool. Because I don't want to put any bright reds on this model. I don't even want any dark reds. I want her really cool and washed out. But the reddish leather does that for me. I mean, I'm sure there was shiny black boots in the Napoleonic days. But other colors of leather, I think, are, I don't know, not necessarily uniform colors. I have no idea. I don't remember Napoleonic. I think mostly it was cloth in Napoleonic times for uniforms. All right, I want to recoat the leggings. I need to figure out the arms here are kind of problematic because I'm going to probably have to go with just the dark brown where I use the walnut here for for some of these belts. And I need to kind of redo some walnut here. I'm probably going to use walnut for the sleeves because they're just there. Like I don't want an accent color or anything. I'm keeping her very subdued. So I'm going to mix up some of that. Yeah, they are social Ellen. We have a UK clearinghouse actually. So if you order, if you go to our website, reapermini.com, you'll be able to choose Great Britain. You can pretty much get shipped from there. I think we're in Nottingham. We don't have a storefront, but we have a shipping warehouse. Last I checked. Getting my walnut together. But yeah, it's a lot easier to get stuff now. If they are out of stock in the UK store for colors you want, you can also just order from the US. I think above a certain... It just makes more sense to order from the UK store, though, if you can. Oh, my puppy is being really a dork in there. I hear her, like, messing around. There's the puppy barkies. No problem. Down to only 3 bottles of Griffin Tan. Yeah, that's the problem. Oh, well. It sucks when the paint you're running out of is, like, out of production. However, may I suggest Griffin Golden Brown? It's in that family. Just probably add a little white to it and you'll probably hit Griffin Tan. As I recall my Griffin Tan. Alrighty. So just going to get my walnut kind of backed up here and I'm going to darken down the sleeves and my puppy is barking at me or she's barking at stuff in her crate. Either way. She probably has pushed her chew through the bars, so I probably should go fetch that for her. Yes, I'm getting squeaky whines now. So pardon me while I get these sleeves colored in dark, and then I am going to... Hey, lady. Yeah, I kind of wish that... Oh, I've got a yipe. Hold on, guys. She probably stuck her paw through something and got pinched. Let me go check on the puppy. 1 second. Papa, what is up? What are you doing? Did you pinch your paw? What are you trying to get? Oh, there it is. I see it. You put your shoe on the outside? Well, that's no good. Here, put your shoe. Yeah. Yeah. Mama really doesn't want to pinch you. I'm just so cute. I'm just so cute. Look how cute I am. Yeah, you're very adorbs. You're very adorbs, and you've got some tan. And you need to be a good girl. Mama's working. Mama's working, pupper. When you're older, you can come in here with me. Yeah, she pushed her chew out of the crate and pinched her paw trying to get it. Somewhat, Kroniko. I mean, she yipped and I wasn't immediately there. I mean, with puppies, remember, it's like a 2-second time frame. If they do something and 2 seconds pass, you're not rewarding them for that thing. You're rewarding them for whatever they're doing at the exact moment you walk in. This is technically when she takes a nap, but her sleep schedule is just all wonky lately, like as she gets older. I don't even know when the puppy needs to be napping now. It's like all a puzzle. Let me get up under this area. She doesn't really even have much of that sleeve over here. There's that shoulder pad really obscuring a lot of it. That's why I'm just painting these areas brown, or walnut rather. It's more like an off black. Painting them dark because they're not very important to the model. I could go with a dark gray blue instead, and that would fit my color scheme as well. But I like to go a bit neutral. So let's see, that pouch, that belt has to be dark. Settle down, pup. She really just wants my attention. That's the thing, is right now all she wants is mama's attention. Or dad's attention. Yeah, she's growing into a new sleep schedule. You're right, Twisted. I mean, she just, yesterday was her 12 weeks mark. So she is starting to not sleep as much as when she was a baby. She's getting actual brain cells. Like, there's less nippies lately. Unless she gets really, like, the key is just not to get her too overexcited. If you get too overexcited, then you're going to get a nippy puppy. But otherwise, she's doing better and better with the with trying to play with us with her teeth. There we go. Just kind of making this a little bit more solid as far as the leggings color. So arm guards, leggings, those will be very neutral. Thanks, XP. Yeah, this is what I did. I mean, it's all wet blended. This is essentially a starting wet blend. It gives you a really nice shadow midtone highlight to start out with. I did it on stream so you could see it. It's the opening stream for Reapercon. Usually I think it's Julie typing, and Bob is in the background, Pendrake. Yeah, cool, Nighthawk. I'm glad it benefited you. That's why I did it. I just wanted to have it out there so that, you know, I could say, hey, here's a video on this. You can watch it. And I pretty much, I mean, that video, I didn't do much with the chat. So it really is like kind of a mini course on how to paint transparent models. As I recall, I was very good about staying on topic that video. Because I wanted to be able to use it as a teaching tool. And then, yeah, I did a fire one for my Patreon. But it's the same principles. It's all the same principles. It's just, you know, what element you're working with. Now, I do need to darken down these gemstones. There we go. Quindy's got the link for us. Kodiak, I'm not sure. No, I haven't used them. I mean, they're washes. So the thing is that they're very heavy. So yeah, they're going to block the light. If you thin them with sealer, maybe they would work just fine. Yeah, no idea. Experiment. Paint is paint is paint. Thinned paint is thinned paint is thinned paint. In general. Alrighty. So I want to get this dark edge around here so that I can then bring out the details and have it lined. The easiest way to paint like a tiny rim around a gem and then the gem itself is just to block it all in and then go into it with white and kind of make concentric rings. Barky Kiki. She's going to push her chew out again and then she's going to bark at me. I predict this. I missed that. Trying to paint Star Wars Stormtroopers, cannot clean and shiny. Oh boy. I wouldn't use peppermint, it's got pink in it. Unless you want pink peppermint Stormtroopers. I'm with Pendrake. It's really, it isn't metallic. So if you try to put a metallic paint on that armor, it's not going to look like Stormtrooper armor. It really does take a gloss white. So I am with Pendrake on this one, I think. I would still block in some basic shading on your white, but then I would do gloss. I don't think it's necessary to go super high gloss. I mean, if you want it to look exactly like the movies, then yes, because it's shiny white armor. But I would try just with a basic shadow on your white. I would probably paint it just solid white, and then I would put some very subtle, very light shading on it where necessary, and then I would hit it with the gloss. You're going to lose a lot of the shadows when you hit it with the gloss. Because, yeah, trying to paint white ceramic, very, very, almost impossible, I think, a faux white ceramic. I mean, probably possible, but you'd have to play, you could do it, but it's not for the faint of heart. Let's just put it that way. Like, painting white ceramic is essentially painting off-white ceramic, but you're making it look white because everything else on the model is very dark. That's why, like, Stormtrooper, all the seams and everything are black. So essentially, you don't have to use a pure white. You could use an off-white, even a fairly dark off-white, like a pale bone color. That's what I would probably use. And make it go that way, and then highlight it with pure white. But you need like also the ability to do like spot highlights to make it look glossy, and yeah, it's not easy, guys. So I don't know if I could even pull it off. I mean, I would probably consider it too much dang trouble, and I would just go with metallics and gloss. Doing a bit of lining here just to keep this neat. But yeah, that's where science fiction stuff can get very, very challenging. Because then you're talking about things like neon glows and real true sky earth, nearing chrome metallics and glossy ceramics and crap like that. A lot of synthetic surfaces that are a lot more challenging to paint than standard fantasy materials. At least with acrylics. That's why you'll see people go with gloss paints and true metallics on big stuff, like when they're doing the big statues and stuff in the science fiction genre. Probably the way, if you really wanted to try to do one guy just in a non-metallic, in an NMM, type of flat treatment, the way to do it is to look up paintings of Stormtroopers, like the actual art, and look at how the 2D artists have done it. And then think about how that's going to translate to 3D. Like, that is the way to do it if you're going to do it. Because undoubtedly, there are, concept paintings or artwork from derivative of the movies and everything, as well as officially licensed, and those people are going to know how to do it. It's just like looking at the Dutch masters paintings when you really want to know how to paint a glass or crystal decanter or a shiny silver chromed teapot. No, it's not practical mini scales. Oh yeah, no, never use, no, okay. All right, let's just stop. Auntie Anne would like to talk to you about something very serious. If you want a model to be white or off-white or anything near white or yellow, never use a wash. Ever. Got it? Fantastic, we're done. I would honestly, like, well, think about it, right? Because a wash is just going to dirty everything, and it's going to essentially knock out, like, any chance you have at that pure white. Honestly, I would just reprime them. Like, if it were me, if I'd made that mistake, I would reprime them white. Done. Put in the black, go over the top of stuff, and yeah. Yeah, the problem comes in regarding that Rust-Oleum white gloss and using white gloss in general. Of course, the problem comes in is I assume these are 28 millimeter figures. You could get away if you had like a foot tall, if you had a 1/6 scale like statue of a stormtrooper and you wanted to get the armor that way, you could actually use those tools because that model is big enough to cast its own realistic shadows. The problem that we run into with these 28s is they are not big enough and we have to artificially put shadows in. And that complicates using any realistic materials for trying to get that sort of gloss white armor effect. Yeah, you're scared? Yeah, that was a very, very serious talk, Kodiak. Yeah, a special PSA for man. Exactly. Like, don't do it. Just don't do it, guys. No washes over white. You will thank me later. All right, so I've got my boots blocked in. So now her dark leathers. We've got the walnut for here and the behind belts. We've got the walnut for the boots. So essentially that means we're going with a warm black for those. And then we've got the sleeves also of her bodysuit, also dark. So that's good. It doesn't clash with anything. Yeah, so I'm going to make the handle of the lantern also dark, just to separate it from her hand. Because right now we're alternating light and dark. Are you noticing what we're doing? We're doing kind of, we're either alternating warm and cool or we're alternating light and dark. The only thing where we kind of cross with that is here. But technically this is cool and this is a warm gray. So I'm still using contrast here, even though a lot of this is around the same shade, which is to say the same light or dark. So what I'm working with here then is I'm not, we're during the body here. I want this model, because she's a Ghostwalker, I want her to look kind of misty and almost, not monochrome, but I want her to kind of be kind of that ghostly ethereal feel. That means I'm making the blue and the leather here and the gray, it's all in the same range of light or dark, right? I kind of want that homogeneous look. That's kind of what I want. So instead of working with what I usually do, which is alternating light and dark to pick out details on the model, I am alternating warm and cool. So here we've got cool, warm, cool, warm, cool, warm. Do you see it? The only place it breaks down is like from the bracers to the shoulder, but I still have that little bit of dark shirt in there. So technically there I am going medium, dark, and medium, and then light. So I'm alternating light, dark some places, but not others. And I'm working with where I cannot alternate light and dark, I'm alternating warm and cool in order to bring out the details on the model. Jack, I really just wouldn't recommend it. It's going to make so much work for you. Like, you could do a sand colored wash, I guess, but you're still going to have to highlight all those big surfaces. If it's white, just paint the wash into the cracks and just, like, you know, kind of blend the edges at that point. Like, it's just, I'm just trying to save you some work. Like, you're gonna have some work. Could you use a light colored wash? Yeah, but then you're also not gonna really get any details. So then you ask yourself, why did I do it? Weird. Yeah, weird the links. I mean, if you want to try it, try it. If it works for you, it works for you. But in my experience, you make yourself a lot more work doing a wash over the whole surface. And what are you doing? You're like, most of the surface you want to be white. So you've just added a layer of color that you totally have to paint over again, probably with multiple layers, because white And so you're making a lot more work for yourself, and you're losing your initial pure, like, you know, white surface. So it depends on how white you want it to be. Stormtrooper armor, you want that to be pretty white. If you're working with like bone armor instead, then yeah, you can use a wash on it because that's expected. Like, you aren't expecting it to be pure white. But if you're working on something white, like I didn't do a wash on these little skulls. I painted the shadows where I wanted them, and that saved me a lot of work. And so that's why I talk to you guys about this stuff. But like, if you are going for something that is really shiny bright white, you're just going to make yourself more work if you put a wash on it. You can still do it. Yeah, go ahead. If that's the way you like, if that's where your comfort zone is. But with things like the things that are very bright glossy white, never. I would say just absolutely no, never. That's my opinion. Purely my opinion. Yeah, you could wash the recesses. That's just layering at that point. Like, if you're just putting wash in the recesses and feathering it into the body to blend it in, well, yeah. I mean, that's how you paint, right? Layering is kind of my bread and butter. So at that point, it's not really a wash. Like, it's kind of you just painting the shadows where you want them. So at that point, you know, it's that. But putting a wash usually is over the whole surface. I would never do that. This is technically 28. Let me see what she is, Nighthawk. Obviously, the 28 millimeter heroic scale, quote unquote, these days is a bit of a creeper, i.e. scale creep. But let's see what she actually is from her feet to the top of her head. I'm guessing 30. No, she's more. So let's put that there and down to the feet. She is about a 33 millimeter. If you measure from the eyes, then she's more of a 30 millimeter. This is pretty Reaper standard scale right now, Nighthawk. And you're going to see a lot of 28 millimeter models out there on the market right now that are actually 30, 32. It's scale creep. It is what it is, and it's happened for years. Kendikari, I had some health issues this past month, so I did not get it done like I wanted to. I'm going to aim for getting that and the glazing video done for the start of the October. But first I have to get caught up on my Patreon because my health stuff really put me back, and I'm struggling to catch up with everything. Nope, Nighthawk. I use reading glasses. So these guys, I don't normally wear them. My normal vision is actually 20/20. I just don't have, I'm farsighted, so I don't have real good close-in vision anymore. So for that, I just wear these. They're reading glasses, 3 times magnification. Yeah, Arcat, I mean, you could. I again think that you're going to actually have less work if you start with white and just draw in the black lining, panel lining on the Stormtroopers. But what matters, like the only thing that matters is what works. I have never painted a Stormtrooper, so I'm merely... Yeah, so this is a very highly detailed figure. It's done in Bones USA Nighthawk. So... Bones USA is really, really fine detail. It's really, really good for that. It's a new material. It's different from the other Bones materials. It's Cyocast. And so, yeah, these details are as good as metal, if not a little bit better. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. So then Dungeons and Lasers went with a real 28 millimeter. Nope. Yeah, Reaper typically does not discount. They have like special stuff. They have you get bonus figures with when you order, if you order a certain amount. Like, so we give you free figures, but Reaper generally does not have sales. Ed and Dave's reasoning being that the margin on miniatures, especially when Reaper started up, the margin on miniatures is very little, so you can easily nickel and dime yourself right out of business. Reaper is run by accountants. Keep this in mind, and it's the reason we're still alive after all these years. So, I mean, sometimes the best thing, like when you're doing Reapercon, if you order one of the swag boxes, you usually get a $20 gift certificate with that swag box, you know. So we do gift certificates. We do gift codes. On Reaper Live, they often give away gift codes. We've given gift codes away on this stream as well. Oh, no, Nighthawk, no. No, I work for Reaper. Like, I'm actually an employee. I'm actually actually employed by them to do this stream. I've been a full-time employee. Before this, I was a full-time employee for 17 years. Oh, no problem. Yeah, I was a Reaper owner at one point. I ran the paint department. I created Master Series Paints. I was a staff painter. I did all that for Reaper. I helped create Reapercon. I helped create the Master Series Open competition at Reapercon. All that stuff. Like, long time have I been a Reaper employee. And then when I met my now fiance, I pretty much said, Ed, I was moving and I could no longer be an owner if I didn't live in Texas. So I became a part-time employee, and Reaper kept me on as a part-timer. So I can still celebrate my work anniversary. And this coming year, April 1st, is 20 years. Yeah, I'm the paint oracle. Like, if you want to know Master Series paint, if you try Master Series and you want to like know about it and figure out how to make it work, like I'm your girl, because I know what makes it tick. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Kerniko. Yeah, Reaper does goodie bags in October and December, which always include a free mini, and then you also get, I don't remember how much you have to order to get the goodie bag, but yeah, it's a long time. They're good company. But yeah, I've seen so many miniatures companies fail. Like, I used to think that Reaper was dumb for not doing sales. And then, like, I just watched miniature company after miniature company just go out of business. And Reaper's still going. So I'm like, all right, the accountants have it. Pretty much just, if you want a deal, like, save up and order more, because then you get more free models. And order during October and December for getting the special bags. Canoe, this is the first Reapercon I actually missed. And I missed it because we had a new puppy and she was too little to get a puppy sitter. So yeah, because I've been to every Reapercon. Like, this is my only missed Reapercon, dang it. It interrupted my streak. I still have my t-shirt from the original Reapercon in 2004. Like, Reapercon #1. So yeah, I will be at future Reapercons. We will get a puppy sitter and we will do it. Or maybe I'll drive and bring the puppy, and then the puppy, I can't have a puppy sitter with one of my friends in Texas. We'll see. We shall see. The puppy is adorbs. She is currently in the other room because, unfortunately, her pen in here, she's gotten too tall. And so I can't have her in here, but hold on. I got one of both ears standing up the other day. Here you go, guys. Here's the latest Kiki with both ears. Normally she has the one ear up here and this one is flopped over, but this one is capable of going up, so she's a floof. She's very cute. So this is a very recent photo. That's not a thing anymore, Canoe. Unless I could probably, if I came in, let me find another Kiki picture. There's another Kiki picture. Very cute. Although she has an eye booger in that one, but that's my Keeks. And then let's see here. I did that a lot, and then this is my favorite one of her, like, attacking the cardboard and giving you the look of what you caught me. That's a very guilty Kiki. So yeah. So she's almost to the point now when in the next few weeks she'll start darkening and getting her adult coat. So she'll lose this fluffy puppy coat and she'll start to show her real colors. But yeah, she's a cutie. Oh wait, here's the one ear up and one ear down. That's a good picture right there. That's my Keeks. Keeks. Kiki. She's actually named Keyleth after the Critical Role character, because all of the puppies in the litter were named that by the breeder. But I think we're the only ones that kept the Critical Role name. But yeah, she's a cutie. And she's starting to get brain cells now, so less nippy. Yeah. There we go. But yeah. So she's a cutie, but she's a lot of work. It's been a long time since I had a pup. I've raised 4 others of this breed, so I'm very familiar. But it's been a while, so it's like, oh yeah, I remember how much work this is. Just training her and getting her into a routine and getting all the shots and socialization and yeah, you name it. All right, so we got the handle dark on the hand there, and that'll help to make that stand out. Yeah. Kickstarter freeze. I'm with you. I'm trying to not indulge. I've got enough beautiful models. I'm totally in that frame there, Jack. Yeah, she's a cutie. She's a cutie. So she's a little, she's just, unfortunately, I could have her. We haven't gotten a puppy cam to ever work on this computer. You know what's weird, guys? Is this may actually get me to buy a new computer. Like, I may buy a new desktop just to be able to freaking set up a puppy cam. But yeah, that may be a thing. But yeah, right now this pen doesn't have a top, and she's tall enough now to get at the wires coming out of my computer, so I can't have her in here right now. Yeah, it's the Reaper Legends and I think the Dungeon Dwellers. Those 2 lines are the Bones USA lines. Those are the really high detail figures. If you're looking for that, those are the lines. Alrighty. I think I'm pretty good here. I forgot that line on the underside of the bracer there. So we're kind of just blocking in right now, and I need to think about accent colors or what I'm going to do. I probably need to go dark with the scabbard here. Just because there's really no other accent color I want to pop on it. And I need to figure out what my potion vials here. Those are probably going to go with the yellow if I go with the yellow for the lantern. The thing about this lantern is it's got all these, the bars around it. Like, there's only little cutouts where the light would come out. Siocast, yes. The Reaper Legends line, the 30,000 line, and the Dungeon Dwellers line, I think, are both Siocast. Reaper is moving to Siocast for a lot of stuff, although we can't do very large models in it yet, and so those larger models tend to still be in Bones Black or in traditional Bones, depending. But yeah, I think at least at Gen Con, or not at Gen Con, at Adepticon this year, the Siocast guy said that Reaper was the company in America most invested in Siocast right now. And I love it because I love this detailing. Like, it's fantastic. Okay, so the little skulls I think we can keep bone. I probably will go bone with this little skull here. I need to decide if I'm going with like a pale gold here, and I think I am. And I'll go with a yellow coming out of the lantern, but I need to figure out what I'm going to do with these metal bands. I kind of want to put them in all black at first. Just use my walnut to just do almost like iron bands around the lantern. Yeah, it's different materials, Kendikari. So the original Dark Heaven line is metal. That was the line that started it all for Reaper. The Legends and Dungeon Dwellers are the newest iteration, the Siocast, very high detail plastic. It's not nearly as bendy as PVC. Both Bones and Bones Black are different variants of PVC with different durometers, depending. So it's pretty much been Reaper's just been iterating, trying to find like the right material to produce the highest quality product and that can still be made at an affordable price point. Because Reaper's always been known for keeping the hobby affordable, and that's part of the Reaper credo. So Bones and Bones Black models aren't going away because, at least not anytime soon, I would guess, because they're still the least expensive way to get models in the hands of people. There we go. Thanks, Quindy. Quindy's got the little YouTube thing explaining Bones USA and stuff. All right, and I totally should have done the corks on top of the bottles in this brown as well. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm going to do the bands around the lantern. We're getting everything kind of blocked in, and I'm getting to the point where I'm going to do silver for a lot of this metal, but I'm going to do some gold. So I really have to think about it now. And I missed that little chunk of mold flash on the end of her blade. Yes, Reaper Live, where Ed tries to give away the whole company every week. Or is he not anymore? Like, he always was giving away so much stuff on that show. We only give stuff away usually on, like, a special episode. Like, if we had our 300th episode, or... I could probably talk Ed into it to do it for my work anniversary or something. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do a special giveaway episode on my 20th anniversary of working for Reaper. How does that sound, Quindy? I think that sounds pretty cool. Tell Ed I want that as my anniversary, my work anniversary gift, is I want to give away some gift codes. Since he never remembers my work anniversary, you know, even though it's so rememberable. Really can't hold that against him since, you know, he's got his 50 employees. Yes, April 1st, April Fool's Day, best work anniversary ever, is my 20th anniversary of working for Reaper Miniatures. 20 years ago on that day, I drove my butt to Texas and showed up on Reaper's doorstep. Boy, I was a whole different Anne at that point. I was such a baby Anne. No, he just forgets that I donate, like I said, he's got 50 employees. Like, Ed should remember my anniversary, but I always tease him about it anyway. I think April Fool's Day would be the easy one to remember. But anyway, I think it's a great work anniversary. You're always wondering if they're going to walk up to you and say, "You're fired." Ah, April Fools. So we've got these kind of blocking this in. Oh, peppermint white, huh? Well, hey, if they want it. But yeah, I think it makes sense to give away a few good gift codes, Quindy, for my 20th work anniversary. Every once in a while, we have to have a giveaway show to grab some new people into here, right? Or some old people who just want more Reaper stuff. We can do a special episode and paint something cool. Unlike other people who stop having birthdays at 40, I am all about celebrating my life milestones. They ain't going away, so I may as well get special food and treats and presents for them, right? Right? I really this year I definitely embraced my mom's advice, which is, you know, when you get past a certain age, you deserve more than one day of birthday presents. You deserve like several days, or maybe even a week. Or on the big ones, you deserve 2 weeks. Oh, it's a Saturday. Let's do it Friday. Yeah, we should do it Friday. And then maybe I should do something special on my Saturday stream. Ooh. I do have a plastic Maldricar sitting in a box that's probably should go to somebody other than me because I also have a resin one. And if I paint one, it's probably going to be the resin one. So, you know, I do have this giant dragon model I could give away on my... Oh, yeah, Nighthawk. Well, here. We're working on, currently, this is a metal figure, our kitty cat that we were working on yesterday with super washes. So kitty cat is a metal figure. And then we also, I've got 2 other Bones USA right now, but we're working on 2 Bones Black. So the big Elemental Scion guys. We've been working on these guys. This guy, and we just started the Genie as well. I think the Genie is tomorrow. Yeah, we need to work on the skin tone on this guy. Happily, I did keep notes on the skin tone. Yeah, I like metal models still a lot, Nighthawk. And Reaper tends to put a lot of stuff to metal that doesn't necessarily get ported over to bones. So often there's a lot more choice in the metal line, so I will... and some of my favorite models from past days and past years are still in metal. So, yeah. I mean, I'm happy the more stuff goes to Bones USA because I think it's really superior. Like, I really feel that this is the future. It's like painting resin, and resin is my favorite material to paint. Thank you, Zachariah. Thanks for joining the Patreon. Awesome. You've gotten a couple new patrons lately. Thank you all, actually. It's fantastic. It keeps me going, and it is actually supporting me. That's my main source of income. So, you cannot support me any better than the Patreon, really. Yeah, these are cool. Like, it's just a really nice, crisp painting experience, which is enjoyable. Like, what I like about this stuff is that there's nothing mucky about it. Like, the model is not fighting you at all. Well, I don't know about those cutouts. I think those are just going to end up getting... Yeah, I'm just going to paint the dark in. There are small cutouts at the top of near some of these skulls, but there isn't really enough space to do the light or the color of the light, so I'm just going to block them in. Yeah, we'll just leave the main cutouts right there. Alrighty, yeah, and then I've got to figure out whether it's going to be... I think I'm going to have to go silver with these and bone with the skulls and then the yellow glow there. So I'm going to do a bit of a dark iron bottom though. So we've almost got everything kind of figured out here. It's a lantern pendrake, I assume. Could be a magical, like, undead, like, sensor kind of thing, but I'm going to paint it as a lantern, but since she's painted rather like she's in daylight, we won't be doing a big glow effect. It's not realistic. If you've already got acrylic paints, it depends on the acrylic paints you've got. You can get Reaper paints online too. Yeah. Okay, so a lot of people do. Are you saying, do you have, when you say regular acrylic paints, do you mean tube paints, Nighthawk? Do you have like actual like canvas paints? Or are you talking about like craft paints like Apple Barrel? Or what are you talking about? When you say regular acrylics, what is it? Because a lot of people paint miniatures with tube paints. Yeah, you just need to thin them a lot. And their adhesion may suffer when you thin them, like how well they stick to the model. But you could certainly paint miniatures with tube paints. I've been working with some tube paints myself recently. But yeah, you could certainly start with your tube paints, especially if you've got a history where you understand mixing with those and you're comfortable with those. Just be ready to thin them, and I would maybe recommend adding a little flow improver to them. I usually work with a mixture of Reaper Flow Improver and water. I do like a 10-to-1 in a dropper bottle. Sometimes I work with just pure water because all the Reaper paints have Flow Improver actually added to the formula. So these all already have Flow Improver, so if you only have water with them, they work. But obviously Artist Paints and other brands don't do that. They don't have Flow Improver added to them in the batch, and so you have to add it on your own. So that could help. Yeah, you really have to water it down. And it still may fight you when you're trying to do things like layering, blending. That's what I find with tube paints, is that they don't blend nearly as well as MSP. Like Reaper MSP, this paint line when I created it was made for layering. Like it was made to be just translucent enough when you thinned it that you could get really good blends with it. And it is still like a standout in my opinion, as I have used other brands and also tube paint. It's really a standout in how easy it layers compared to other brands. Yeah, that's true. Reaper Learn to Paint kits are on Amazon, and if you could pick up one of each, you'd have a pretty good starting set of Reaper paint colors to try out, plus you'd have minis. Yeah, Artist Loft. Okay, so probably what's basic grade or student grade acrylics. Yeah, look at the Reaper Learn to Paint kits. It is a good deal. We always lose a little bit of money on those, but it's worth it to get people into the hobby at a decent price point. So each one comes with, I believe, 11 paints and just a meh sable brush and some minis. And a big guide on how to paint. So if you need help with your technique on painting minis, then both the basic and the layer up kit are useful. The two Learn to Paint kits don't overlap in colors. They work together pretty well. So if you get the first two kits, you can get 22 bottles of paint. You'll have all your basic colors pretty covered. And a lot of those colors are ones I would definitely recommend if you were starting out with MSP. Okay, thanks, Kendikari. Yeah, that's the first one with the skeleton archer. Yeah, so it also depends. If you paint canvas, you'll have some basic kind of art know-how already, but so maybe the first kit will be kind of like, oh yeah, these techniques, you know, but the second kit is probably worth it for you because it teaches layering. So if you feel like your basic base coat, dry brush, and wash is pretty good, then getting the first Learn to Paint kit, you probably won't need the directions. But they are good practice minis too, if you are relatively new. So if you haven't ever used washes, because it's not something you usually do on canvas, then it may be worth it for you to get the Learn to Paint kit one, just to kind of learn the ratios of thinning and all that stuff. All right, let's see here. Let us do some highlighting on this leather, I think. I kind of want to block in more of the yellow and bone, but I need to kind of look at my colors first on that. Number one doesn't have washes in it. It's you get a pretty extensive painting instruction guide with it, Nighthawk. So like it's a big guide, and Rhonda walks you through every step of painting the included miniatures. So the guide will essentially teach you how to mix your own washes. The one thing I do recommend is if you've got some matte medium, use a little bit of matte medium in place of some of the water in those wash formulas, and you'll actually have a little better success. Maybe do half and half. Like if she recommends 4 drops of water, I do like two drops or brushfuls of matte medium and then 2 of water. But yeah, she teaches you how to. We don't hand you the fish. We teach you how to fish. No, it's this is what this stream is for, Nighthawk. Actually, I mean we masquerade as a miniature painting stream, but really we're a question answering stream. So it's always good to get some extra info in for everybody who's watching. But yeah, so, and then the second one, layering, that's also about paint thinning, but it's about how to get your paint thin to the point where you can, like, get some smooth, like, highlighting and shading. Yeah, we don't mind. Yeah, it's pretty much lots of info for free on this stream. And then my Patreon is nice because then I can get more focused and I can do things like PDFs and stuff like that. Yeah, if you're new to all those, to those techniques, I would start with number 1. And if you haven't gone over to my YouTube and watched my mini painting fundamentals videos, then do that. You can find me painting big, I think 2 words on YouTube. All right, let me get, okay, we are ready for highlights. Now I need to thin down my highlighting color. So my base color and my highlight, you can see there's quite a big difference between them. Yes, the best way to describe this stream is you can't derail it because there are no rails. There is no spoon. We just exist in the painting ether, and we will go off on whatever track we feel. Yeah, it's totally legit. So my YouTube is the second link from the bottom in that link spam that Quindy just posted. And yeah, so that's more free info, focused info on things like getting a smooth base coat and stuff like that. Now it is pretty MSP centric, but if you look at the paint consistencies, you should be able to kind of eyeball it. But yeah, I enjoy answering questions. I have been in this hobby for a ridiculous amount of time at this point. Counting just from my first national award win, it's been 20 years since my first Golden Demon. So, and I was painting for longer than that. So I have much, okay, so like when we layer and we see those little brush strokes, little stripey bits, there's the stripey bits. That is not good layering. We know we need more water. More water for these leggings. Adding more water. Oh, don't even, Kodiak. Eye surgery. Yeah, we talk about a lot of dog stuff since I just got the puppy, and I'm also involved in supporting a breed. We do a lot of dog genetics stuff, so like every once in a while I'll go off on that tangent, bore people with my nerd science, nerd dog science. But we talk a lot about cooking too, because I enjoy cooking. Actually, I'm setting up to do a beef stew. I don't know if I'll do the beef stew tonight, but it's cool enough here now that I'm feeling like it's stew time. Yes, exactly. So Reaper's social media. Go, if nothing else, go join the Reaper Discord. We have a super supportive, friendly, awesome community. The Reaper Challenge League is on there, which is a great way to get yourself painting more stuff, maybe stuff you wouldn't normally have painted. So if you're looking to get some practice with techniques, the Reaper Challenge League can be really good for that. And that is over there, and Quindy can also, yep, there's the Reaper Challenge League link. So you can investigate what that's about and see if it fits kind of with what you'd like to do. But yeah, the Reaper Discord, Reaper community is great. Big group of people who are generally fantastic and supportive. If you want hard level critiques, then you need to go elsewhere. We are the friendly people. We are the people who will not pan you. We will encourage you instead. Has to be. There's plenty of forums out there on the interwebs who will pan you as a mini painter. So we figure our role is different. So there, I've thinned my paint to the point where now I'm creating a very nice blend. I've got a little bit of a line here. You guys can see that line. So to get that, I'm going to thin my base coat actually with a couple of drops of water. And I'm going to do my layering brush stroke in the opposite direction over the top of that line. And by doing that, I will be able to blend it in. But I need to make sure that my base coat is thinned substantially. Oh yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, if you join my Patreon, I also have my own Discord, and we do We do have a lot of people who are happy to give feedback on your painting. I try to be a little bit, we're very supportive over there still, but we will be honest with you if you want serious feedback, like you're working on a model, maybe your first model for competition, or you're really trying to get layering right and you're struggling with it. We're going to give you some good feedback on that. Nobody is harmful over there. We're all just trying to help. So yeah, but same on the Reaper community. So you can do either. Either or both. Just be aware that I have a channel called Supplies Talk on my Patreon Discord, and it will make your wallet lose weight, so approach with caution. And also, if you're into 3D printing, we have a 3D printing talk channel too, and that also is dangerous. I just asked people, I need to get on today and see what you all said, but I just asked people for recommends on a resin printer because David has decided it's time. Lol. Quindy. Saturn 2, huh? Yeah, I mean, David was like, everybody's talking about this one. And I'm like, okay, but look into it because, you know, I am very aware. Like, I don't have a 3D printer, but I have followed the hobby a bit. And it is very like miniatures where there is a new shiny every, 6 months or 4 months or whatever. There's always a new shiny. So you got to make sure that it's not just when people are recommending one thing, that it's not just the new shiny syndrome and it's actually going to stand up. So, yeah, you like it? You got a Saturn II, Polly? Well, David, if you are on my Patreon and you're on my Discord, go and make your recommendation. But David specifically asked for why. Why do you recommend that printer? Why? He wants to know the why. And then he's going to kind of assess. Because he's not going into it with any preconceptions. He's just really just interested to see how people talk about their favorite 3D printer. But yeah, we really want something that'll do the highest quality because obviously we're both competition painters and we want to have a very high quality model print if we're going to do it. So. Mars 2 Pro. Ah, I see. Yeah, David's smart. He's like, we've got a space for it, like all picked out. But we'll see how it goes. See, for me, it's not as attractive because I've got so many beautiful models already and I'm such a slow painter. Like just finding time for my own hobby outside of the Patreon, my writing, all the other stuff I do, the puppy, David, watching Great British Baking Show, things like that. Important things, important life goals. Finding time outside of that is hard for me. So I am kind of skeptically eyeing the 3D printer, but if I find a Patreon 3D printer or Patreon that I really, really like all their stuff, maybe I'll get excited. We'll see. Depends on how much of a pain it is, too. But I feel like I need to paint a few things before I can do that. Yeah, see, Mad Zeke, that's exactly it. If you've got a bunch of friends that do it, right. Yeah, and we don't really have anybody around here who does. Yeah, we'll share. Yeah, we'll totally share once David decides to hit it. So, okay, so you can see how subtle the first highlight on layering is. You want it to be, because you want it to be smooth, you can't go with too much drama off the bat for your first layer. And I'm kind of assessing and seeing if I need a little bit more, grabbing my dark color if I need to layer in again from the back to introduce a bit more shadow here. Yeah, the dragons are interesting, but I have to admit to myself that I haven't painted a dragon for a while, so the dragons are less tempting than some of the busts. and some of the 75s. So I don't know. Once we get the printer, once David has it figured out, then I'll probably go back to my Patreon Discord and ask for recommendations on various Patreons to get really cool STLs from. And just general sculptors, of course, who don't have Patreons. Well, I think almost everybody's got a Patreon at this point. Yeah, if you've got a friend who has a printer and they're just eager to help you out and to share the love, because, you know, everybody who's got the printer, they want to use it, right? So it makes sense that if you have friends who are into the hobby that you would be really cool and offer them some prints. I think for David, I mean, some of it might be printing models, but I suspect what we will use it for a lot more is printing terrain stuff and basing bits. Because David likes to do diorama bases and so do I, and so it makes a lot of sense for us to get STLs for that sort of thing when we need to outfit a base with just the right thing. Oh, I'm sure dragons are crazy things. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, you know, you buy the toy and then you really want to use it, right, End? I totally get it. Oh, right, yeah, because there's Kickstarters with 3D prints as well. Yeah, you guys just, I'm going to forget all this. Like, you know, it's going to, like, a day or two is going to go by and I'm going to forget, I'm going to totally forget, like, what you're recommending. So you all have to remember to remind me at some future date when I ask. Then I'll have a pen ready and a piece of paper and we'll be ready to get some stuff. So your first layer, you can see the gradient, right? Real fine. At this point, it's reading kind of like calf skin or doe skin, right? It's a smooth, I'm kind of going for a grayish leather. I'm not doing any texture because I want it to be a very smooth leather, but hopefully the fact that we've got it up here as well will kind of translate into leather. Now I need to get up and make the next highlight for this gray. So let's back out a bit. I'm going to just take 2 big brushfuls of my previous mix. This is how I always do it. You start and you just continue to carry it over. And I can decide whether I want to do pure white or cairn stone, but I think I'm going to do pure white. I'm only going to put one drop of pure white in because this is so thinned. There's not really much paint in this mix. So I know that that 1 drop of pure white is going to be pretty obnoxious. It's going to change the color a lot. Yeah, see it? Boom. Now, for layering with pure white, I put 1 drop of water in with that 1 drop of white, but that's nowhere near enough. So I'm going to put another drop. Then I'm going to test it and see if I need yet another drop. Yeah, exactly, Pendrake, I figure. But I mean, we're very likely to want the little nubbins for basing more than we want any big models right now, I think. Alrighty. So let's test this and see if it's going to give us a smooth blend or if we were going to have to thin it more. So I need to unload my brush a ton first, get a lot of paint off of my brush, so that I have a really good tip and so that I have really controlled paint. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's too harsh. Like I can see those brush strokes. Boom! 1 more drop of water. Uh-oh. I did way over the top on that. My water bottle betrayed me. Betrayed me, water bottle. Why? Why have you betrayed me so? Well, we'll see if this works. I think I got like 3 drops in there. It's probably much more than I needed. My problem is that I'm so persnickety about what I want to paint that I don't, like a Patreon is usually not what I want to invest in. It's usually a Kickstarter probably is a better bet. All right, I had to take a lot off of here. Let's see if this exists. Yeah, now we've thinned it to the point where I'm not really seeing any of it. Yeah, so too much water. So you can go either way. If you can see brush strokes, then you've got too little water. And if you can't see really the layers at all, then you've got way too much water. Yeah, well, Kickstarter, by the time we actually get it, she'll be a little older. I'm going to get another drop of this in here, and then I'm going to drop another drop of water in here, and that should, or white in here, and that should give us parity here. Yeah, see what we need is to get some of these 3D sculptor peeps who have these Patreons and Kickstarters to sponsor painting competitions, manufacturer awards at Reapercon. All right, so let's see if this works. Unload brush. Unload brush. Oh, this might be too much. I might have gone back already. Oh, this is okay. I can see a little bit of line. As you get lighter, it can be very challenging to get that blend because the white is very opaque that you're adding, and so it becomes very difficult. This is real close, though. I can work with this. And if you do it and you do see a little bit too much of a line there, this is a very muted color scheme, Bryce. Yeah, I don't usually do these, but I enjoy them, so I decided to do it. This model being a Ghostwalker, I decided that sounded muted to me. I suspect, Margaret, that the only reason those people haven't is that we're not on their radar and nobody has approached them. Like, I often feel like, and we would have to arrange it early enough to give people time to paint. You know, that's the thing with manufacturer awards is you really have to finalize the details in advance. There we go, a little bit of a wet blend to equal that out. Oh, you don't worry, Mamadzik. That's don't you worry your head about that. Other people are handling that. Yes, green users and I are plotting. And that's all we're going to say about it. Because suspense. So just a little bit of real fine layering today to get that smooth blend. Smooth blends are the most annoying thing. Like, and they're not necessary. Like, a lot of people go in the direction of texture instead. But understanding how to smooth blend and having this in your toolbox for when it is appropriate is a very smart move. It also really teaches you, learning smooth blending also really teaches you like how to handle a super thin paint. So now we've got a bit of that highlight coming down here. You can see how this is picking up quite a bit. But yeah, so much of smooth layering is not just paint consistency, but how much you've unloaded your brush and how much you're controlling your paint. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about unloading your brush, go watch my fundamentals video on control your paint. Or you can go watch my thinning Msp Paint video, which is a class I did for during the pandemic Reapercon. That is a hour-and-a-half long extravaganza on thinning Msp for various techniques. And there, Quindy has popped up the link. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. Because it is pretty exhaustive. So I'm picking up the edge down here now with my highlight. So I worked out this, these leggings worked out kind of a dove gray, which I really like. Yeah, we are almost done with streams, so I'm gonna try to finish up this layering. But yeah, I've been doing more bright color schemes lately, Bryce, and I've been wanting to do more, work with a bit more muted. We're definitely doing bright on the elemental scions, so this model and Kitty Cat, who we were doing the superwash thing on yesterday, Kitty Cat's going to be pretty muted because he's a necromancer and he needs to be muted. So yeah, muted color schemes are sometimes challenging but fun to do, and I really like the look for the appropriate model. Yeah, I really need to dig out the skeletal cats from Dark Sword and give necromancers some friends, or at least one friend. I don't think Reaper's got a skeletal kitty, do they, Julie? If they did, you'd probably be the one who had sculpted it, so. Yep, have fun, Turvyn, thanks. Yep. Yeah, that's the first one, Nighthawk. So that'll give you a chance to try our paint. And the thing that I'll tell you is, remember, you don't need to thin it very much. In fact, I would go and watch that that thinning Msp Paints thing, which is right up there on the chat. I would go watch that. It'll tell you how much I thin for the base coat and everything. Rhonda's guide should also give you a pretty good guide, though. But if you want the info's out there, it's free. And I talk about all sorts of different techniques in that video. It'll kind of give you a big survey. Puppies are cute. Even mine is asleep by this point. She finally stopped fussing. We're just still getting into the whole. She still thinks that our routine is flexible, so it's trying to get her into the morning routine. Okay, so they're very compatible, Canoe. They're very close to each other. The only real difference is that Bones is formulated with a bit more coverage out of the bottle usually, whereas Msp will vary widely depending on the paint. Msp will vary more, like there are some colors in Msp Core that are very translucent and some that are high coverage. But with the Bones line, we tried to stay on the higher coverage side for everything. So like if you use the yellows from MSP Core, you may notice they're a little more see-through, but the Bones yellows are a bit stronger, for example. You'll just notice it in particular colors. The other difference is that the Core line has our specialty paints in it, like liners and clears, primers, sealers, flow improvers, stuff like that. And it's also, the Core line is organized in triads. So there's a base coat, highlight, and shadow in most of those triads. So if you're not used to mixing your own highlights and shadows, then the triads are a really good tool for you starting out. Those are the differences between the lines. Otherwise, they're both airbrushable. They both take the same amount of thinning for the most part. And they are perfectly interchangeable as far as mixing them. Ed just pretty much wanted a Bones branded paint line, so I created a separate set of colors with that in mind. Yep. Otherwise, as far as the thinning in there, it's appropriate for both lines. Although the higher coverage a paint is, the more you may need to thin it to get it to transparent for washes or glazes or smooth layers. But that's like, there's no like end all, like be all ratio for every paint because every paint's a little bit different as far as opacity. So the best thing to do is to learn how to look at your paints in the palette and to judge by how much you see. Like there, I can tell that this is a very transparent paint. You can see the white of the palette through it very much so as it's up here drying on the side. And if I take it and splosh it across the surface like I did here, you can see how transparent it is. So I've learned just how to look at my paint, and then as you get a feel for it, as you paint more and more, you're going to get just a better instinctual feel for, is this paint thin enough? Is it not? And that's when you can go, as I often say, is try a well palette, learn paint consistency, and then go back to your wet palette if that's what you prefer, and use the wet palette at that point, because you're going to have a better gut instinct for how thin or thick your paints are on the wet palette after you've worked with the well for a while. And the well lets you control that paint consistency because it's not always wicking water into or out of your paint. So it lets you kind of get the feel for that. That was a little bit too much paint. There we go. So we've got some nice layering there. We highlighted her legs. We blocked in a lot of stuff on the model. I need to finalize. I kind of went back and forth on the yellows for her hair, so I really have to figure out what I'm going to settle on as far as for the yellows on this model. I may repaint the hair a little bit, decide to go a little more vibrant with that yellow just to bring it up a bit. I haven't quite decided, but I do need to figure that out next stream because I want to use that same kind of color base for my NMM gold over here on the sword. And I need to figure out whether I'm going to put it down here as well. So yeah, oh, and I've got some more gold right there on the dagger. So yeah, we did some stuff. She's looking pretty cool, even just with mostly a base coat. So there we go. Minnie. Tomorrow we're working on the genie, as I mentioned, the elemental air scion. So that'll be fun. We're going to do dark skin tone. I mostly got my dark skin tone figured out on the first stream we did on him. So now it's time to apply that over the entire model. So yeah, if you want a dark skin tones tutorial, I'm going to be working on it tomorrow. Yes, off I go to out a Kiki and have my walk, and then Kiki's vet appointment this afternoon. And hopefully finish my PDF for you guys on Patreon so that I can get that up for you for the $5 tier. Yes. All right. Thanks everyone, and I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good one.